Hi guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We are back for another stream. In today's stream, we'll be discussing our team selection for Gameweek 4, and we'll also quickly recap how we did in Gameweek 3 as well. So, international footy is pretty much over. We're back to the real football on the weekend. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, how you doing, Jordan? How's your week been so far?
Yeah, it's been a good week, obviously, for the break from Premier League football, and obviously now the international football, as we mentioned, is now over. We can now prepare ourselves for the return of obviously the Premier League and the Fantasy for Game Week 4, and it is going to be very exciting, I think, obviously, because as you might know, one of our wildcards is activated, so you wait and see, guys, through the stream, obviously who it is.
Yeah, let's discuss our Game Week 3 very quickly. We'll wrap it and then discuss how we did. So my team on the screen, as you can see, in goal I had Henderson, who did get me 4 points, which was quite nice. In the 1-1 draw, I think it was, wasn't it, in the end, between Palace and Chelsea. He did pick up the save points. He made 6 saves in that game. In the back line, I had Robinson, who picked up, I believe, an assist. I had Trent, who picked a clean sheet, and then Saliba obviously getting the 2 points as well. In the midfield, again, not much to really shout about. I've got Saka, who picked up an assist, I think it was, in that game. And then Rodgers, Jota, and Smith Rowe all blanked, unfortunately. And up front, I had Chris Wood, who got me another goal. That's now 2 goals in 3 games, which I was very happy about. He also got the 3 bonus points. Isak, I think, got an assist in that game. Sorry, he scored. And he got the 3 bonus points in the 2-1 win against Spurs, which was nice. And then Haaland, obviously, we know he went and smashed it again after his hat trick against West Ham, back-to-back hat tricks, and as well as getting the 3 bonus points as well. As you can see, the only downside to my team this week was Eze, that I actually benched him for this game, and I decided to play Rodgers and Smith Rowe ahead of him. Which now, looking back, I was never sure about playing Eze, but going into this week, a lot of people are hyped on Rodgers and even Smith Rowe. I do regret it because Eze, one of my rules in FPL is always play the more expensive midfielder, like a £7 million midfielder over like a 5 million. And I didn't listen to my rules this time around, but going forward, Eze is 100% going to start every week for me. So he done a brilliant performance. He scored against Chelsea and got the 3 bonus points as well. And Eze's been unlucky. In game week 1 and 2, he could have easily scored, but I didn't think he'd do it against Chelsea, but I should have backed him a bit more and kept the faith. So should have had 8 more points if I started him ahead of Rodgers or Smith Rowe. So all in all, can't complain too much. Is a green arrow. It's 81 points total for me this week. A lot of that is obviously due to Haaland. The rest of the team, as you can see, blanked, apart from obviously Saka and Trent really getting 6 points. So I'm up to 1.5 million now on the rank. Obviously still very early days. I think rank isn't necessarily important at this rate, but yeah, 81 points all out for Game Week 3. Yeah. So Jordan, your Game Week 3, tell us how it went, and talk us through your team.
So yeah, very good week for us. On the other hand, for me, it's a bit more average week in terms of overall team, but obviously Flecken, start off with him in goal. They conceded late to Southampton, so no clean sheet for him. He did make 5 saves to get an extra point. He ended up on 3. In terms of the back 3, disaster really. Apart from Robinson, he got an assist against Ipswich, but Pedro Porro, obviously no clean sheet for him against Newcastle, and Burn scored an own goal with no clean sheet either. Obviously they played each other. Moving on to midfield, so we spoke about Saka getting his assist, 6 points. Rodgers blank. So Diogo Jota, 3 points, clean sheet, point there. No attacking return from that Liverpool game. And obviously the main man, Salah, in that midfield saved me quite a bit with his 17-pointer with the assist, or 2 assists, the goal, the clean sheet point, and the bonus 3. In terms of forwards, a little bit of success. I mean, Watkins got 1 assist, only played 60 minutes though, so it was a bit underwhelming against, obviously, Leicester. Menez as well, even more of a disaster. I did captain him, and it didn't pay off at all. He goes on blanks. That's 3 out of 3 blanks from him now. Very underwhelming from his performances. I thought against that fixture against Ipswich, he would get his return, but unfortunately he didn't, and that only scores me 4 points for the captaincy. And finally, with Isaac scoring the goal, like we mentioned, and a bonus 3 against Tottenham. In terms of the bench, the only return came from Davies, surprisingly, but yeah, he did get an assist. He also got a bonus 2, even though Ipswich drew in that game. So that was the only real success. Kwanzaa didn't start. Gordon blanked, only 2 points, and obviously my non-playing goalkeeper for Brentford got 0. In terms of ranks, it's obviously not so good. 4.5 million down in the red, but it's still early days, so rank isn't an issue so far. And 54 points, which you would say is an average game week in terms of points, but it was a high scoring one if you did in fact have Harden in your team. But yeah, so far, obviously it's still early days, so I'm not too worried, but that's how Game Week 3 plus pretty much sums up Game Week 3 for me.
Okay, so that's Game Week 3 out of the way. Let's talk Game Week 4 now. Obviously, we've got bus teams, and then I'll also discuss our transfer. So we'll go with my team first. So in the goal, I've got Dean Henderson. He's got Leicester at home, I believe. I think it's a pretty decent fixture for him. He made a few saves against Chelsea. Unfortunately, Palace have started off the season, quite poorly. 2 losses and then a draw against Chelsea. So they haven't actually won yet. Hopefully, they can get their first win against Leicester in the home fixture. It is a decent fixture for them. So we'll see how they do. But hopefully, Dean Henderson can get his first clean sheet of the season. Moving on to the back 3. At the moment, I am playing the Robinson, Saliba, and Trent, which I've had since Game Week 1. Robinson has West Ham, which I think is a decent fixture for him. He is a home fixture, so hopefully he can get me some attacking returns. He's done quite well, managed to pick up a couple of assists now, Robinson, so happy to see that. And yeah, West Ham at home, I think it's a decent fixture for him to play him, and obviously he's had a price rise. He's now 4.6 million, so you can see his ownership's 16% is creeping up as well. So nice to see him doing quite well. Saliba has Tottenham away. Now, I don't expect a clean sheet for Arsenal in this game. I expect Spurs to score. So I think it's a tough fixture for Saliba. So if you can get me a clean sheet, it'll be a bonus, but I don't expect it. Moving on to Trent. Now, Trent has Nottingham Forest at home. Now, Liverpool have 3 really nice fixtures upcoming. So Forest, Bournemouth, and Wolves for the next 3. And you expect Liverpool to really pick up maximum points in these fixtures. And it's a great fixture for Trent. Back-to-back home games. Trent's been a bit unlucky not to have an assist or a goal yet this season. I don't think he's had any attacking returns so far, which, again, is a bit of a surprise when you watch him play. So, yeah, I'm expecting big things from Trent in the next 3. Moving on to the midfield 5 now. What I've got transfers obviously planned, so I'll just go ahead and discuss the boss team first. So I've got Saka, Rodgers, Jota, Smith-Rowe, and Eze in the team at the moment. Now, I'll go to the forward line first, Jordan. And this is my boss team at the moment, with Isak and Haaland up front. On the bench, I've got Valdemarson, Wood, Ola Aina, and Barco, who we know has been loaned out to Sevilla, I think it is. Now, as you can see from the left-hand side, I have 2 free transfers after not making any transfers in the first 2 or first 3 game weeks, I should say. Right. And I've also got 1 million in the bank. Now, I've already done my moves, just so you're aware, guys. I did them earlier in the week due to price rises. And the 2 players I've already taken out and confirmed. Now, the first one might be, these moves might be a bit of a controversial, might be a bit of a surprise to you guys. So the 2 players I've decided to take out my team are Bukayo Saka, right, and Isak as well. So I'm looking at taking both these players out, and the 2 players I'm looking to bring in is Mo Salah and João Pedro of Brighton. Now, I think these moves are quite popular. A lot of teams are looking to bring in someone like a Salah. And so we can afford Salah, we have to downgrade elsewhere. And a lot of people are looking at Isak, even though he did score against Spurs in Game Week 3. And I'm not sure how I feel about taking Isak out, because I think he will still get you goals. but I had to do it just so I can fit Salah in. He's got back-to-back home games at Anfield coming up, and the way Salah started the season, he's been as good as Haaland in my opinion, if not better. But that's me being biased, obviously, as a Liverpool fan. But in terms of points, he's matched Haaland. But yeah, that leaves me with the midfield five of Salah and Jota as a double Liverpool against Forest, which I'm happy to own both. Rodgers has Everton at home again. I think that's a decent fixture for Rodgers and Villa, I should say, against Everton at home. And Everton, we know, have been struggling this season as well, obviously conceding 3 in the end to Bournemouth. Smith Rowe has West Ham again. It's a tougher fixture, so I'm not sure what he can do in that one. But I could just play Wood as well, but he's got Liverpool, so I think I'll just play Smith Rowe and hope for the best. Eze, after his goal against Chelsea, I'm very excited to play him against Leicester at home. I think it's a great fixture for him, and I'm expecting big things from Eze in this fixture and coming up in the coming fixtures as well. I'm really happy to own Eze because he's still quite low owned. I think his ownership's a lot lower than I thought it was, and he's under price decrease as well. So he's now 6.9 million. For that price, I do think he's sort of a bargain, really, and I think he will start delivering points for us owners. And up front, obviously, one of my transfers in, João Pedro. We know he's been really good this season so far. He's got a couple of goals already so far to his tally this season. I think he's got 2 goals so far this season.
Yeah, I think
he scored back-to-back goals against Man United and Arsenal. He's only 5.7 million now. I mean, he's had 2 price rises already. So he's popular. His ownership's now 30%, 29.9. So, yeah, he's looking like he's going to be another popular pick, especially at his price. So, and then obviously with the main man, Haaland, up top to complete the attack. And he's got Brentford at home. Now, obviously Joseph's comment. Obviously, Haaland might not play on Saturday. He has been offered compassionate leave after the death of a close friend. I have checked this out before going on stream, and it looks like it is the case. It is accurate news. However, I've also seen that he did train as well, so we'll have to see if he is fine for that game. I'm hoping he does start, but again, one to watch, obviously, due to that news in regards to Haaland. But that is what the team looks like. I'm playing a 3-5-2. I've done the 2 moves, Salah and João Pedro in. I've taken out Saka, and I've taken out Isak as well. Let me know what you guys think of my transfer plans as well. So I'm interested to see what you think of my moves. That leaves me with 1.2 million in the bank still, and then that's leaves me with no free transfers going into game week. I'll have 1 free transfer going into game week 5 as well. So in terms of the team, I'm very happy with the way it's set up for this week. And for game week 6, I am planning a wild card potentially. So you'll have to wait and see what I do for game week 6. So I am thinking of wild carding my team because there's a bit of a fixture swing in game week 6. So I'm looking at potentially wild carding, obviously not confirmed yet. But yeah, that's the team. I think it looks good. In terms of captaincy, it's on Haaland at the moment. If obviously I hear that he's not going to start or there's any issues there, I'm going to put it on Salah. No doubt about it. Salah's my vice at the moment. I actually think Salah might even be a better captaincy option than Haaland this week. I think if you've got Haaland and Salah, I don't think it's as easy as Haaland. I know Haaland's been amazing, but I think Salah against Forest at home, I think it's an easier fixture compared to Brentford for Haaland. So it's one I want to get your opinions on as well. So yeah, that's the team.
Yeah, I think it will be interesting. Obviously, the vice captain may play an important factor if a lot of people are indeed captaining Haaland, regardless of that news that we've obviously heard. So yeah, there's that to keep in mind. Obviously, the vice captaincy could be important if you do decide to captain Haaland for game week 4.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to your team, Jordan. Talk us through because as you can see from the title, guys, Jordan has wildcarded. I believe you already pressed a button.
Yeah.
Talk us through first, initially, why you've decided to wildcard this early. Obviously, it's game week 4, and also then talk us through your wildcard draft and why you've selected certain players as well.
Yeah, so I have folded, guys, to the wildcard. I mean, I wasn't originally planning to use it for game week 4, but considering seeing Haaland scoring back-to-back hat tricks. And the way, obviously, my team was structured around a non-Haaland team, it has led me to now, obviously, activate the wildcard and change the team around, restructuring it in every, obviously, possibly section of position of midfield, defence, and forward line. So, yeah, that's my reasons for that, because obviously it seems like you can't go without Harden at the moment. It just seems too good, and that's what I was originally going to go with. If he was going to keep this run of form, where he scored 3 goals, 2 goals here and there, seems like he is at the moment, and yeah, that's my reasonings for obviously activating this wildcard. So let's get into it. So to start off with this wildcard draft, we can talk about the goalkeeper and the back three. So obviously I've gone with a cheap goalkeeper that you may be surprised at is the Leicester goalkeeper at 4.5 million. Hermansen. He is obviously 0.5% owned, so he's not a very popular pick. But I did want to go cheap, and I know there's other 4.5 million goalkeepers you could obviously go for. But in terms of fixtures, I know Leicester haven't kept a clean sheet yet, but their fixtures do turn nice. Apart from that game week 6 where they have Arsenal away, they have a nice run of green fixtures all the way up to game week 11 where they play Man United. So between there and then, I mean, a clean sheet from goalkeeper, it's not a bad thing. I mean, it is nice to obviously get a clean sheet from him and a few save points, but yeah, it's proper differential goalkeeper. I think going with a newly promoted one, especially, but I do like the fixtures of Leicester, and they haven't really struggled much against teams. It's not been a very high ceiling of goals they concede. So yeah, that'll be interesting how that goes for the long-term prospect. So let's move on to the back three that I've gone with. So Robinson's remains. He's probably he's the only player that I've actually kept from my previous team. Obviously, he is similar to Pedro Porro in the sense of his attacking threat is really good. 2 assists so far, 1 against Ipswich, 1 against Leicester, and obviously plays full 90 minutes, so he's nailed. His ownership isn't that high either, 16.9%, so he's a relatively good defender to have at considerably ownership too. And yeah, he hasn't kept clean sheets, but I do like the fact he does get obviously attacker returns, so there is that to keep in mind over Robinson, and he is cheap at 4.6 area. Moving on to the next player, this is a Liverpool defender, that is Robertson. Obviously I would have liked Trent, but because of the money issues and whatnot around the team, I've gone with second best Robertson, who's got Nottingham Forest at home. Now I've been a bit annoyed. I've missed out on the 3 clean sheets that Liverpool have had because I did pick Kwanzaa originally in my team. I originally had Van Dijk, but I went cheap and went with Kwanzaa. But it seems like Slot prefers Konate over him, so yeah, it's a bit of an unfortunate issue there. But I am now bringing in Robertson at, I believe he is 6 million. Again, another differential, 6.8%. He is going to obviously it's going to rival Trent because I expect him to get the assists and goals more over Robertson. He's more of a clean sheet magnet. He doesn't really get bonus points either. But I did want to include a Liverpool asset in there in terms of defense for the clean sheets, especially with the next 3 fixtures that they do have. Finally, moving on to the last defender, that is Lewis Dunk. And again, I think this is the best chance of a clean sheet you're going to get from Game Week 4, and that's probably a big thing to say because we have seen shocks of obviously Man City conceding to Ipswich, but Brighton have looked good this season so far. I mean, they've played against Arsenal, Man United, and Everton. I mean, it was a good result against Arsenal considering it was a draw. They played away at obviously Emirates, and I feel like Brighton so far have impressed me in defence, midfield, and obviously the attacks. So yeah, I've gone with Lewis Dunk for this fixture. Ipswich at home. He does have some aerial threat on obviously set pieces and corners, so he is dangerous in that department. Possibly could get a nice haul if he is to obviously get more than a clean sheet, but I'm hoping at least Brighton do hold off Ipswich in that game. So obviously that's defence and goalkeeper spoke about. Let's move on to the midfield and who I've gone with. So starting off the midfield, we've got Palmer. He's currently flagged for a knock, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. I don't think it's anything serious. It was just more to ongoing issues that he had beforehand, but he wasn't in the Nations League, so I think he's pretty much rested, obviously, for the weekend when obviously football returns. He does have Bournemouth away, and in terms of Chelsea assets, there's only really 2, Cole Palmer and Nicholas Jackson, that I would actually want to go for. But so far, Cole Palmer's had 4 assists and 1 goal so far this season. And again, he's on a good record. It's looking like. And Chelsea have really nice fixtures in the next 4: Bournemouth, West Ham, Brighton, and Nottingham Forest in a row. So I think that Cole Palmer will equalise on his goals and assists. And in terms of Chelsea's team, because it's so bulky, you don't really know who's going to start, how many minutes they're going to play. With Palmer, he's played pretty much 90 minutes, apart from Wolves, where he played 82. You don't have to worry much about about him in terms of minutes either. So yeah, he's my first pick in the midfield that I've gone with. He is a bit nailed at 40% ownership, but I'd rather have him than not have him at the moment. Next, we've got Rodgers. He's got Everton at home. Rodgers hasn't got off to a good start. Obviously, 3 blanks in the last 3 game weeks, but I think he's just lacking that little bit of confidence. I think once he finds that extra step, I reckon he'll get some assists and possibly goals behind him. But I am keeping the faith in him for my team, and he is cheap as well. You're not going to expect much from a 5.1 million midfielder. Just bear that in mind, guys. He is 15% owned, so he has been sold a lot. But in terms of the fixtures that Aston Villa do have, they're really good up until game week 9. So I did want to include one Aston Villa asset, and obviously Watkins hasn't really gotten off to a good start. His minutes also have been limited as well to around an hour. Whereas Rodgers, he plays 90 minutes, and that gives a full opportunity in a full game for him to provide some attacking threat. But hopefully he does get off to a good start against Everton, who have struggled in recent game weeks. Moving on to the duo of the Liverpool guys. So we've got Diogo Jota and Mo Salah. Again, these guys were in my original team, and it completes the triple up on Liverpool. I think there's not much really discussion here because we've seen how Liverpool played. I've been watching them closely, and out of every team I've seen, Liverpool have been the most exciting to watch in terms of the way their tactical plays have obviously played out. Obviously, Slot plays in a different way to Klopp, and I quite like the management in terms of minutes each player is getting as well. For those who are injury prone, like Diogo Jota is. Now, obviously, Jota's not a 90-minute player, but he does provide goals, and that's what I like about him in terms of an asset besides Salah, because obviously he's more of a captaincy magnet and obviously more owned. On the other hand, Jota, 18% owned, and he's 7.6 million. So I think his price and value for money is worth it in the next 3 for Liverpool. And in terms of Salah, he's as a captain option to go for as well. He's currently got the captaincy over him at the moment for me, and it's at Anfield. Strong fixture, I think, that Liverpool can win comfortably in. And finally, to complete the midfield 5, we have the second Brighton asset, and that is Matoma, who's got Ipswich at home. Now, this could be a selection of Brighton assets. You could go for Minter, Adingra, but I've gone with the more nailed pick of Matoma. So far, he's had 1 assist. He's also scored a goal. He's played 80+ minutes. He's technically a differential. I'm surprised he's only 9% owned. I thought he'd be much higher by now. And he's 6.6 million. So yeah, I think he's a good steal, especially for that Ipswich at home game and the form that Brighton are in currently. It's hard to obviously ignore and go past that in terms of that midfield asset. So finally, to move on to complete the starting 11 and the bench. So obviously, let's complete the Brighton triple up. So I've gone with João Pedro also. Just for that obviously for João Pedro owners, he obviously did play against Uruguay in the Nations League. He only played about 45 minutes in that game. So I know there's obviously talks of him potentially being rested or benched or not playing enough minutes. Hopefully, fingers crossed he doesn't, because he only played only half of the game against Uruguay. So yeah, hopefully he should be fine for when he plays Ipswich. But yeah, he's a steal, I think, at 5.7 million. His ownership has rocketed to almost 30% ownership, but he has had 2 goals so far, and he's on penalties too. So it's hard to look across from obviously his teammate Welbeck. And finally, to complete the starting 11, we have Haaland, who I didn't have before, and obviously due to this news of him possibly not playing against Brentford at home, I'm still going to have him in my team regardless from now onwards, because this is the long-term investment pick. We've seen the damage Haaland has done, scoring 1 goal against Chelsea in Gameweek 1, and then scoring 3 against Ipswich and then West Ham. So 7 goals out of 3 game weeks for him. And yeah, it's hard to look past that. So yeah, I have folded and brought Haaland into my team. And yeah, that completes the starting 11. Quickly on the bench, it's very cheap. Obviously, my goalkeeper stayed the same for Brentford. In terms of the other players, we've got Fai from Leicester. Provides some attacking threat. He did score against Fulham, so he might show some value there. But clean sheets, maybe not so much. Got Keane from Everton. Again, just a cheap option at 4 million. Nailed 90 minutes. Could provide some, obviously, benefit in the easier fixtures after Game Week 4. And obviously a non-playing player for Man United, Wheatley. He's got Southampton away. He was just purely for the basis of cheap at 4.5 million to save up money elsewhere. So obviously that unlimited transfers, that leaves me with 0.2 million in the bank. And it's a 3-5-2 formation with the wildcard activated for Game Week 4. And that is what the team is looking like so far.
All right, I just want to say, guys, please do drop a like on the video if you are enjoying the content. It really helps support the channel. So if you are enjoying it, hit that like button. Make sure you are also subscribed to our channel as well. We're trying to get to 1,200 subscribers next. 1,300 subscribers, I should say. So all the likes, comments, and your follows or your subscriptions are appreciated, guys. Let's take a few comments. Marjuk says he's also wildcarded, and any suggestions for any changes in the team for Flecken, Valdemarson, Gabriel, Keane, Robinson, Van Dijk, and Stephens. Midfield: Saka, Smith Rowe, Rogers, Eze, Salah. Forward: Haaland, Wood, João Pedro. One suggestion I would make is taking out Van Dijk for someone like a Trent, if you can afford Trent. And I think Trent would be giving you more points over a longer period of time than a Van Dijk. Van Dijk, you're probably relying more on clean sheets. Obviously, he can get you the odd goal. I think I'd do Van Dijk out for Trent, and then try maybe if you can't afford it, then maybe downgrade elsewhere. Any suggestions for this team, Jordan?
I might potentially take out Saka. Obviously, there's a lot of talks about whether you keep Saka or not, but I'll probably take him out for Cole Palmer. Do a swap from him to him. Obviously, they're around the same price mark, so it shouldn't cost you that much money to obviously upgrade to Saka to a Palmer. But that's what I'll do in terms of transfer suggestions for that team. But the rest of it looks fine.
Yeah, maybe you can downgrade Wood to a cheap 4.5 million non-playing sort of striker, and then upgrade Saka or even a Van Dijk to someone like Trent, which I think would be worth it. Another comment from Braden. Most will go Haaland captain. I want to captain Salah. Do you think Haaland is much better? As mentioned earlier on the stream, I don't think Haaland is so much better than Salah this week. I think it's quite neck and neck, and I wouldn't be surprised even if Salah did outscore Haaland this week. I think Salah has the slight better fixture against Forest. Obviously, we know Haaland's a machine with back-to-back hat-tricks. But yeah, I mean, Jordan, you've gone with Salah. What makes you go Salah over Haaland this week on captaincy?
In terms of, I mean, at Anfield, it's hard to go against Salah, but at the same time, obviously, it's hard to go against Haaland at the current form. I don't think there's much in it between them, if I'm honest, because so far we've seen they both kept up with each other in terms of returns in points, but just slightly towards going with Salah. I think it's just the way, obviously, Liverpool play. I mean, I know Haaland is the main man in terms of goal scorer, but against Brentford, they sort of, I want to say they sort of struggle against them, but they don't. But it's that kind of where they don't score as many goals as we've seen against West Ham and Ipswich. I don't see it being like a 3 or 4-0 kind of game. It might be like a 1 or 2-0, and maybe Haaland scores 1 goal. On the other hand, though, I see Salah potentially getting like more upside in terms of goals, like 2 or maybe even 3. That would be nice. But yeah, I see more goals coming from Salah's fixture than I do with Haaland's one, and that slightly sways me towards going with him instead of Haaland.
Got a comment here from Manish. Will Lewis play centre mid and right back Walker this week for City? It's hard to say. Lewis is looking quite good in that Man City team at the moment, but it's very difficult to say. And I think hopefully we do, we get some leaks. But yeah, I'm not sure in regards to Walker. I mean, looking at the minutes so far this season, Walker's not really played much, has he?
No, he hasn't.
Not played at all.
No,
he played 2 minutes against West Ham, but he's not started a single game yet. And Lewis is the one that is looking good. So I think Lewis is a nice pick, but again, I always worry about Man City defenders all the time because I just feel like any moment in time they'll probably get rotated out.
Because I believe Ake got stretchered off with a muscle injury in the Levellers match against Germany, so maybe we see some changes in that defence.
Yeah, did you remind me? Ake did get injured in the international game, and it did look quite serious. So he looks like he could be out for a prolonged period of time. Maybe makes Guardiola a lot better now, more of a nail pick. So yeah, it's possible that Walker does play. Do you think Veltman starts or worth it to bring in Dunk or play Robinson? I'll probably just play Robinson if you have him, but I think I'd prefer Dunk over Veltman. If I was to go Brighton defender, I would go Dunk.
Yeah, because I think there's more. What's the word? There's obviously more confidence in going with Dunk because he's going to start, he's going to play. I wouldn't really risk it going for Veltman if he's going to start or not. So I'd rather go with Dunk.
Will Salah sign a new deal or not? Well, yeah, I hope so. As a Liverpool fan, anyway, we all hope he does. Ezra, Saka to Palmer for a -4 or use free hit or no need because I have free transfers going from Wood to Welbeck. Definitely don't take out Saka for a hit. I don't think it's worth it. I still think Saka can score against Tottenham. I think he scored against Tottenham last season as well, and he has a decent record against Spurs. So I wouldn't be taking out Saka for a hit, no chance. Jenny says, hi guys, thoughts on Rodri starting as well? As far as I'm aware, he's not injured, so is he not back from injury?
Yeah, he is back from injury.
I think he should be fine. Again, it's one to watch. Again, hopefully we hear some leaks, but if he's fit, then he's such a key part, an integral player for Man City that usually he does start if he's fit. So I think he's not flagged or anything at the moment. I know he missed the first 3 games, but I think Pep did say he'll be back after the first international break. And Jason says, can you elaborate on Haaland might not play? So, Joseph did sort of cover it. So just for those that don't know, Erling Haaland did train today with the Man City squad ahead of the Brentford fixture. However, he will be allowed to take compassionate leave if he requires time after the death of his close friend, Ivar, which I believe his close friend passed away. So he's been offered that leave. Again, he may play. He may decide to take that break. I think he'll play personally. Again, it's no info. I think he will play. But again, it's one to watch in regards to Haaland anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's everything in regards to our teams. Also, guys, as always, we've got to always ask you guys, because a lot of people forget, do hit that like button on the stream. It really helps support the channel, and we, just helps with the algorithm on YouTube. But yeah, I think that's it for the wildcard video. I think that's both our teams really. Obviously, Jordan's on the wildcard. I've done my 2 free transfers already early, and we're back again on Saturday for the deadline stream. Jordan won't be with us on the deadline stream, so it will just be me taking it. So yeah, join me, I should say, on Saturday 10 a.m. For the deadline stream. It should be a good one, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys there. Joseph also says, cheers lads, nice one. Thank you, Joseph.
Thanks.
Always appreciate it. Well, yeah, I think that's it, Jordan. We're going to wrap it up. Anything else you want to add to the stream, or?
That pretty much sums up. Obviously, I won't be here, so in advance, good luck, guys. Hopefully, the deadline stream goes well for you, and hopefully, you get a green arrow for Gameweek 4. Should be exciting. Obviously, I'm playing the wild card. It's activated, so that team that you see that you saw will probably stay the same. So, yeah, obviously, until after that, the knee jerk, I'll be back for that. So. Yeah, until then, take care. Enjoy the rest of your week and the weekend. And yeah, we'll see. I'll see you then.
Yeah, see you guys Sunday. Jordan will be back for the knee jerk on Sunday at around 8 o'clock. All right. Take care, guys.